Hey there, everyone. This is Sky Harris, CEO and co-founder of HistoryDAO. I'd like to share with you more about the HistoryDAO project and the amazing things we're doing here. But first, a bit about me. I grew up in the US where I majored in English literature and history at the University of Utah, which had a huge role in the formation of this project. I've always been an avid student of history and find that many of our most important lessons come from the studying of the civilizations and events that happened before us. My professional background is in marketing at Web2 companies including Lenovo and ByteDance, and it's through the merger of those skills, my passion for history, politics, and the news cycle, as well as my foray into blockchain and NFT technology over the last few years that really was the impetus for this project. So, let me share with you more about what we're doing at HistoryDAO. Just like how Bitcoin decentralized the power of currency, HistoryDAO is decentralizing the power of history. History has always been written by the victor. Always. Truth has been the story of the powerful from the perspective of the powerful. And not even the internet has been able to change this law. That is, until now, thanks to blockchain technology and NFTs. The father of all Western philosophy and the inventor of universities, Plato, through his remembrances of Socrates almost 2,500 years ago, was the first to lament how the mighty few dominate truth itself. As truth was so clearly centralized by the power to themselves at the mortal peril of any challenger, some students of Socrates, led by Thrasymachus, pragmatically believed that truth and justice were defined by the will of the powerful. Socrates' answer to Thrasymachus in the Republic was a mighty effort to reveal the world as smitten by mere dreams and shadows, which prevented the truth, the real truth, from being revealed. Yet even Plato was enamored with centralized power. In fact, he had a very dim view of democracy, deciding it was exciting and entertaining at best, though unsustainable in the long run. He championed instead a rule by philosopher kings, and even believed that all kinds of admitted falsehoods and fabrications were needed to establish and maintain the ideal republic of Plato's dreams. It could be argued that Plato's two greatest passions were the relentless immutability of truth and the sole qualification of philosopher kings to discover and understand it. The masses, in Plato's view, were unqualified and unfit to have knowledge of the truth, and hence any knowledge at all. Plato conceived of his ideal republic on these two pillars. He believed paradise on earth would be achieved by the leadership of philosopher kings, who alone were connected to the singular, immutable truth while keeping citizens hooked on a steady diet of purely fabricated propaganda. Plato literally prescribed false histories as essential to the foundation and continuation of his ideal society. In a way, Plato's Socrates agreed with Thrasymachus more than he realized. It was just a matter of who should hold power. Plato's corollary warning was that the free availability of true knowledge would destroy his concept of paradise, and Judeo-Christian tradition fully took that warning to heart 500 years later. The very origin of humankind is described in the biblical Genesis as a fall from grace into pain and suffering due to the discovery of the truth, represented by Eve's tasting of the apple from the tree of knowledge. That first taste of forbidden fruit led to endless punishments exquisitely depicted in the Western world's most beloved works of art. 2,000 years later, Plato's two great passions continue to guide society. The non-relative immutability of truth is overwhelmingly accepted, as is the belief that truth is the exclusive domain of the elites, which most qualifies them to govern. HistoryDAO concurs with the first. Yes, truth is unrelenting in its immutability. But we disagree with Plato on the second. Truth is not the exclusive domain of the elites, and the false histories that they tell are more about rulers maintaining their power than the good of society. Those false histories should be overturned. But how? The key is the amazing ledger systems of blockchains. Blockchain introduces common ledgers, owned by no one and usable by everyone, that are fundamentally more secure than any other type of ledger in existence. What this means is often overinterpreted and overhyped because it is somehow hard to recognize what is profound about this simple truth. A properly implemented blockchain ledger is, for all intents and purposes, indelible. Confusion reigns because few people can appreciate that simple but amazing fact. Sensing profundity, but not understanding it, Evangelical types are climbing over each other to sell you to the moon. You may walk away from a pitch or visionary's pep talk trying to believe that blockchain can somehow prove, for example, how fresh a particular fish is at a fish market or where it is caught. No, it cannot. But the really amazing thing is that it can prove that at a specific point in time, such a claim was made, and that mere fact can get us significantly closer to the truth. Before blockchain, any receipt or record entered on a ledger, no matter how mundane or important, was implicitly or explicitly dependent on the authority of powerful, centralized, intermediary parties and their proprietary centralized systems, each with unique protocols, methods, or verification platforms. In profound contrast, a blockchain ledger deployed with open source code cannot be owned, centralized, or controlled by anyone. It runs as a decentralized application, never dependent on any single or discrete processor or local system, and it can be relied upon to confirm in perpetuity any data recorded to it, whether a grocery receipt or the results of a presidential election. Whatever happens in the real world, a claim can be made about it on the blockchain that may be a lie, or it may be the truth, or anything between the two. Blockchain does not come with some kind of miraculous truth detector, but once any claim is made on a bona fide blockchain, the truth that the claim was indeed made forever and irrefutably stands. And that is a clue that was never possible before blockchain. Neither the date of the entry nor the content of the claim can be altered retroactively in any way by any individual, company, or government unless the internet itself is destroyed. So, how can this affect the agenda of Plato's philosopher kings? It can have a huge effect. Plato convincingly argued that getting to the truth of anything was more about the journey than the destination. The philosopher kings were simply way ahead of everyone else on that journey and deliberately leaving roadblocks behind them. Such roadblocks are the numerous techniques of suppression and obfuscation through centrally controlled algorithms, outright censorship, distraction, and even threats of persecution. And while truth is hidden and suppressed, falsehoods and propaganda are encouraged and incentivized, driven by sensationalism for clicks and self-serving promotion. How then does the indelibility of blockchain help? In two ways. One, by creating a domain for recording history and pursuing the truth where centralized powers cannot interfere. And two, by rewarding contributors. Blockchains were originally created specifically as an economic system long before the potential for recording history was realized. HistoryDAO takes advantage of blockchain for trading tokens, both fungible and non-fungible, and creating a reward system for all the functions that incentivize pursuit of truth in community forums. HistoryDAO NFTs are about things that happen in the real world. Their value is based on pursuit of truth, breaking away from pure speculation based entirely on the aesthetics of rich influencers. HistoryDAO will nurture the emergence of truth through consensus incentives attached to the indelible permanence of NFTs, underpinned by the understanding that consensus and truth can never be separated. The HistoryDAO mechanism for economically incentivizing truth works via these steps. By leveraging the security of the Ethereum network, once an event is stored by the mint function, it is permanently secured and cannot be tampered with. The technology can easily expand to enrich text, pictures, videos, and other data formats to increase the amount of information reported. HistoryDAO introduces the concept of initial NFT offerings to kick off the process of recording moments for declared categories of history, in which any user can propose a theme for an NFT collection, building the collection through support of participants who choose to contribute to or purchase NFTs from the collection. Categories for the collections are entirely unlimited. HistoryDAO will endeavor to promote INO activity by rewarding photographers, artists, and journalists for their creativity and diligence in organizing and promoting themes and categories as INOs. Users may invent whatever category they imagine in accordance with whatever they wish to document on the blockchain, and their minted contributions will continually adjust in rank based on numerous factors, such as listing time, views, likes, trades, comments, etc. Algorithms will be 100% transparent and governed by the contributors themselves, who earn governance tokens in the Governing HOW Foundation, also known as the HOWcoin community. Every new algorithm change needs to be proposed and passed in the HOWcoin community. Unlike other NFT platforms, HistoryDAO pays more attention to community interaction than NFT transactions. Algorithms for community activity make HistoryDAO the blockchain Reddit DAO. HistoryDAO also recognizes that there is no such thing as free speech. There is only the question of governance, how speech is regulated and moderated, and the core of this question is over the degree of authority of centralization. In the case of HistoryDAO, decentralization is the whole point. Regulation is community-based, and the unique properties of blockchain prevent powerful interests from censoring or persecuting publishers of speech that they don't like. The robust community environment for speech will be used to dramatically grow the community over other centrally censored platforms, and this can be expected to have a positive effect on the value of NFTs on the platform. The HOWcoin community is a decentralized autonomous organization that follows a proposal process to vote on how the HistoryDAO ecosystem fund will be distributed to promote a diverse and self-sustaining ecosystem. A major item on the HOWcoin community's agenda is a governance guide that describes the proposal and voting process. It's a living document that will evolve and improve with DAO community's input. Membership participating in idea submission, commentary, proposal submission, and voting is restricted to HOWcoin DAO members. Holding HOWcoin is the only requirement for membership in the DAO, which can be earned in various ways by minting, trading, and otherwise participating in the HistoryDAO platform. The HOW Foundation website is the DAO Hub, providing an interface to educate DAO members on the governance process and provide easy access to aspiring members of the community. In this way, HistoryDAO will not only decentralize and democratize the recording of history, but incentivize it as well. HistoryDAO itself has a history. Launched in the fourth quarter of 2021, we began live testing of minting, following, and trading functions. And when those were working well enough, we went to press to invite our early bird users. By the first quarter of 2022, we leveraged our initial user base to launch the DAO functions and rewards for platform participation. In the second quarter of 2022, we upgraded browser and lookup functions. And in the current quarter, we upgraded online creation tools and announced support for collector royalties and press releases to history buff and blockchain communities. NFTs are here to stay, literally and figuratively. In the literal sense, they are famously indelible. So long as the internet exists, any NFT on a bona fide blockchain, such as Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, and Polygon, remains indestructible and unalterable. In the figurative sense, humanity will be forever compelled by this fact. NFTs may rise and fall in popularity, but essential works on the fundamental powers of NFTs will never cease. The social and economic role of NFTs in the world will continually develop. History will forever be recorded. The difference now is that it can be recorded indelibly on blockchain networks in the form of NFTs. This is an opportunity to get closer to the truth by rewarding those who speak up and engage the discussion while putting it out of the reach of censors and powerful centralized interests. Once an NFT is minted, it can't be unminted. HistoryDAO is building a platform to leverage this unique property of NFTs and combine it with the decentralized consensus mechanisms of blockchains, which can be applied to form decentralized autonomous organizations, or DAOs. Thanks to decentralized consensus, DAOs can form governance structures that avoid critical concentrations of power. DAO community governance can nurture connections between people in the form of uncensored talks, salons, and discussions. Such are the origins of modern universities, which trace their ancestry to the time of Plato. The world is full of alternative facts, and is nothing new. There has never been uniform agreement on anything. What's new may be the unprecedented effort on the part of various institutions and media to separate true from false, through fact-checking and censorship. The issue is worthy of the world's attention. High-profile news coverage and buyout battles have brought unprecedented awareness to the issues most recently. But epic contests for control are symptoms of a broken system that cannot repair itself from within. The solution is not about who owns the platform. The solution is about whether platforms should be centrally owned at all. HistoryDAO's answer is that they should not, and we're using the power of the blockchain and NFTs to undo and reverse the trend of centralization and consolidation in public discourse. We are using the power of blockchain to overturn the rule of Plato's philosopher kings in favor of consensus among all. Thank you so much for your time, everybody. We can't wait to have you as a part of the HistoryDAO platform. Go to historydao.io to check it out now and start minting history today.